This radio show is a paid placement. Welcome to Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. I'm Mark Elliott, joined today by Mindy McIntosh. Mindy, the founder and president of McIntosh and Associates, started the company back in 2004. And of course, Nolan McIntosh, normally here, husband Nolan. He's the market guy. He helps you with your market investments. Are you taking too much risk in your portfolio? Not enough risk, the right amount. That's a big thing when you get into retirement. How much risk are you taking? Well, Nolan's not here today. So, Mindy, that means all the pressure is on you to carry the show because it's been both of you. Are you okay? Are you comfortable?
Oh, I think I better take a deep breath. Ready to go.
Yeah, I think you ran the company 14 years without Nolan while he was out doing his physical therapy stuff. So I think you'll be fine. Now, here's the deal. Mindy and Nolan and the team at McIntosh and Associates, they can help you when it comes to, hey, Mindy, when can I retire? Do I have enough? Will my money last as long as I do? Will my loved ones be okay if something happens to me? Really, at the end of the day, people just want to know, hey, are we going to be okay, Mindy, if we retire? Are we going to be okay? Will our money last as long as we do? Those are the big questions. If you have concerns like that, feel free to call the team. At McIntosh and Associates, there's no cost, there's no obligation, there's no pressure, there's no judgment. It's 877-222-8849. We'll give you that number throughout the program, 877-222-8849. And if you'd like to find out more about Mindy, Nolan, and the team, just go to the website, wealthmichigan.com. Wealthmichigan.com. All right, there's been a lot of chatter, Mindy, about taxes. Now, we know that the Trump era brought us lower taxes as families and corporations and all of that. And the Biden administration has said, hey, we've been through some tough times. We got to raise taxes. We got to get our national debt a little bit more under control. We're going to move into the little bit more tax world, I guess. There's a lot of moving parts here. But before we get into all of that, I think this is probably near and dear to your heart. You probably like this because you've got 3 daughters that are 11, 8, and 7. Before we get into this tax talk, I want to tell you this and get your response. In the state of Rhode Island, the governor signed a bill that would guarantee a basic financial literacy education to all students in public schools. How do you feel about that?
Well, the nice thing is, average retiree benefits, if they have the opportunity to learn more about finance versus the children and getting tax cuts, hopefully the parents have planned accordingly, right, for their literacy education. But on the flip side, wow, how nice is it for them to have some basic financial education to know if my folks haven't already set up a plan, maybe because they didn't know or didn't have the means to seek out help here, they at least now are going to learn some of this financial literacy to get themselves on the right foot. And, to take it a step further, I really like this. We start at the elementary school level here in Freeland and actually go in, and it's a 9-week program, and we help teach entrepreneurship and things about money and literacy to these young 3rd and 4th grade students. It's fantastic to give them a footprint. Then we need to continue year after year. So this is an excellent option.
I do think that financial literacy stuff is so important, and I never really had that. My parents were teachers. My dad was a coach, and we really never talked much about money. I think it's something that maybe has been overlooked in our educational system. Glad you're with us today for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes, but today it's McIntosh. It's Mindy is with us. Nolan is out. The tax hikes that we're hearing about from President Biden's infrastructure bill, there's no new taxes in that, but they're saying that more than likely there will be a second bill on this infrastructure deal that's going to cover social welfare, green energy, and many other priorities. So we've been hearing about the Biden administration's tax hikes for quite some time. None have gone into play yet, which means now is maybe a time to start planning for some of these. What are some of the main tax increases, though, that really have been talking about that we really should be watching out for?
So important to be planning now. I can't emphasize it enough. Start a plan, have an idea, start moving, get it on paper. And now more than ever, as we're looking, you're right. Nothing has changed yet, but he's really looking at raising the corporate tax rate. So that tax rate that's at 21%, moving it up to 28%. And you never know if that's where it's going to stop. Would it be lower than that? Would it be higher than that? That is the target, though, for now. It could land somewhere at 25%. But even if we look at any change, any increased change from the 21%, why not plan accordingly and make some adjustments now to try to withhold and withstand where you've been at currently prior to those changes? We've also seen that President Biden wants to raise the top individual income tax rate from 37% up to 39.6%. And that's where it was back before the Trump tax cuts even took effect in 2017. So when we look at that, we have a lot of folks too. Clients are literally coming in week after week saying, hey, Mindy Nolan, what about the capital gains tax rate? That a top rate is 20% right now. Could that go up to the 39.6 on the capital gains for people earning more than $1 million a year? And that's a big number that we're taking a look at as well. And where will they compromise? Obviously, we feel it is going to raise, maybe not all the way up to the 39.6. But the key to this is that with tax hikes, it's going to be tougher in the future, and we're going to see tax rates move up. So why not come into the office? Give us a call here at 877-222-8849. Let's review where you stand today. We can run a tax analysis report of today, 6 months, 1 year, and 5 years. And come on into the office. Let us help you out with these major changes that we are anticipating coming.
Glad you're with us today for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Mindy McIntosh, the founder and president of McIntosh & Associates, started the company back in 2004. Find out more at wealthmichigan.com. I'm Mark Elliott. That's our headline segment. We're talking a little bit about taxes. And, of course, the corporate tax rate when Trump came into office was 35%. Trump took it all the way down to 21%. And now they might be moving it up. But, the Biden administration, Mindy always talks about, we're only going to go after the wealthy, the super wealthy. But it seems to me the wealthy always know ways around all of these tax hikes. Bezos can make $1 billion during a pandemic and probably won't pay any more in taxes than somebody that made $50,000, it seems. So they've got ways around all of this. Most of us just go, we're good Americans. We just go and pay our taxes. We don't really have a plan. And I think the fun part of what you do is you're looking forward. You're trying to guesstimate a little bit where taxes are. How do we put our money in a better position? There's a lot that goes into it because you've got to pay attention to what's going on in Washington when it comes to tax laws.
You absolutely do. And there's just different things that we could do right now, right? So from a forward-thinking, futuristic plan, we can really take advantage of these existing opportunities. So we really feel like tax rates are going to go up for the majority of folks, not just the super wealthy, but for the majority of taxpayers. So we're really looking at doing Roth conversions for folks. We're even going ahead and setting up some what's called Index Universal Life or IUL conversions. And what it does is we are creating a taxable event today to be able to offset the higher tax rates in the future. So paying at today's tax rates to let it grow and defer at a mostly tax-free basis moving into the future, we do need to take a look. It's not just as easy as, oh, I'm just going to do a Roth conversion or I'm just going to do an IUL. But we need to take a look at, are they losing other tax deductions? What additional tax might be withheld? What's going to happen with Social Security or their Medicare IRMA? So how do we look at this? So please come into our office here at McIntosh & Associates. We'd love to walk you through these steps and see if it's a good fit for you.
Mindy, there was an article in Bloomberg that says one of the greatest transfers of wealth in U.S. history is underway as baby boomers are leaving large inheritances to their children. And the number of households with a net income, a net worth of more than $5 million has doubled since 2007. But we know the Biden administration is proposing a change to inherited assets. What do we need to know about that? If we're a baby boomer trying to leave behind to our heirs, what do we need to know about some of these tax proposals?
Well, there's some things that you need to think about and that you should be doing and we can walk through together. So you need to gift some assets before they actually appreciate. So if you're legacy planning, right? So clients either come in wanting to spend all their money, leave a little, or really leaving a legacy. So they need to look at minimizing the capital gains tax rate on the transfer. The transfers can also be a low basis asset, so to the spouse, and to defer the recognition of the gain. So the transfer on the higher basis asset to the other beneficiaries will be a recognized gain, and they're going to be the ones realizing it. So we want to make sure that you're using the lifetime exclusion to avoid some capital gains tax. There's some things we can help you walk through to do that, and also with working closely with some of our attorneys here as well. So you don't want to assume that you won't be impacted by President Biden's tax proposal, because you're not wealthy enough. So don't think that way. A lot of folks that come in here and we actually start looking through retirement or assets or doing reviews, they'll sometimes look up at our screen or we'll discuss and they'll say, wow, I have that much of a net worth right now. I just didn't realize it because we're not spending all that money. So bet that just about everyone listening here today has a few areas where you could become a little more tax efficient, right, with your retirement money. And that's why, for the listeners of today's show, we want to help you. So think about it. If you feel like, gosh, I just don't have a few of these questions asked, we want to help you understand the potential impact in taxes to have on your retirement savings. We also want you to learn about the ways to reduce or eliminate taxes in retirement. We all would love to pay less taxes. We just have some strategies to walk through that. And creating an income strategy for your retirement. Make sure it lasts as long as you need it to, and all the pieces of your estate and puzzle are wrapped in together. So please call us here at McIntosh & Associates at 877-222-8849, or feel free to poke around our website at wealthmichigan.com and just let's answer some of these questions for you and get that plan put in place.
We got a lot to get to with Mindy McIntosh. This is Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. We're back right after this.
Who will help you get there? Wherever you want to go and whatever you want to do in retirement, McIntosh & Associates can help you get there. You do the dreaming, they do the planning. It's your retirement, but you need a guide. As you approach retirement, McIntosh & Associates can make sure you're on the path to retire on your terms. And once you're retired, they'll help you stay on course. Think of it as a roadmap for your retirement. The team at McIntosh & Associates wants you to have the retirement you've worked so hard for. Come in and meet with them today. They'll help you create a retirement roadmap that's tailored to your dreams, your lifestyle, and long-term financial goals. Call today at 877-222-8849 and schedule a visit. Call 877-222-8849. That's 877-222-8849. Firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Get started today to develop your own dream-focused wealth plan with the team at McIntosh & Associates. Schedule a complimentary first visit today. Call 877-222-8849.
Welcome back to Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Mindy McIntosh, the founder and president of McIntosh & Associates. Nolan McIntosh can help you with your market investments. Nolan's not here. He's out studying and learning information about the market world. So we missed Nolan, but Mindy is certainly able to handle this. She ran her own company for 14 years before Nolan joined the team back in 2018. Glad you're with us today. I'm Mark Elliott. You know, it's a lot easier to get a job done if you have the right tools. So, Mindy, is Nolan the handyman or are you the handy person around the McIntosh household?
You know, it just depends on what it has to deal with. We kind of team up on some. I remember him that farm girl. So
right.
I can kind of piece together some things on my own, but you know what? He loves working on the lawn tractor and doing some things outdoors.
Yeah, I have no skills, Mindy. I can't do anything. So it's really sad. I actually have a bathroom door that the knob got stuck and I took it off. Didn't really know how to put it back together. But that's okay. We all have to deal with where we are in life. Now, here's the challenge, though, because when you're doing something around the house, you need the right tool. Well, one of the interesting things, I think, Mindy, is that when you're getting into retirement planning with your clients, McIntosh & Associates, is that everybody pretty much has 401ks at work. Some are lucky enough to have a pension, which is fantastic. But we've got 401ks, we've got IRAs, might have some rental property, might have some life insurance, could have some annuities. We've got stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs. Basically, those are all tools. And I think a lot of times people come in and they'll say, hey, Mindy, Nolan, here's my IRA that I have. Here's some rentals, that I have. Here is my 401k at work, and I've got 2 other 401ks from work. There's my plan. Is that common that is the plan? Because it's the tools are the plan for most people. They don't understand what you and the team at McIntosh & Associates are creating for them. Tools are important, but it's not the plan.
Tools are very important. It is definitely not the plan. I would say, though, that most folks that actually come here or referred from a current client or a business colleague or something of that nature. So they already have known and heard. So some of that homework has a little bit been at least chirped in their ear for a while, right? Like our parents or our grandparents teach us. So when they come in, they realize like, hey, you know what? I have this 401k or 403b, or some of them aren't even exactly sure. They just know they've been contributing to an investment instrument that now when they're ready to retire, they want to move it. And most of them do generally realize that it'll probably move to an IRA, but from there, they have no idea. They don't know where their income's coming from, usually doesn't really have a budget or an expense plan put in place. So they're just coming here, hey, help. How do we make these puzzle pieces meet? We think we kind of have things put together, but now, like you said, let's use all the tools and the knowledge that we have here at McIntosh and Associates to kind of build it and customize it together for you. So please call our office here at 877-222-8849, and we can build this toolkit for you too.
You know, there is an online toolkit from the federal government if you did a Google search. And the federal government has this in its resources to help you learn about Social Security, Medicare, and the basics about retirement savings plans. Mindy, what would you say is missing from that list that the federal government says, here's a retirement tool for you?
Well, none of it talks really about where they're gaining all their income from and what's going to happen from a tax plan. So how do they know the tax plan? Where is the income coming from? And what about their legacy, right? So how involved and how fulfilling do they want to make sure that their end and final wishes plans are met? So really, I feel like it misses 3 to 4 pieces of the puzzle. And we do love the educational pieces, the pamphlets, the handouts. We have a variety of books here we like to get in our clients' hands that like to do some reading to see like, we forgot a couple tools in our tool belt and we can't finish the job without them.
So when you're sitting down with clients at McIntosh and Associates, what makes up the retirement toolkit? Because you're obviously, when you go through the Dream Focused Wealth Plan, you have the discovery meeting. You got to find out what their hopes and dreams are and what's important to them. Then you analyze it, you come up with a solution, then you implement it. And it's not over there because now life happens. The Dream Focused Wealth Plan is, I guess you could say it's written in pencil because we've got to be able to adjust as life happens. But what goes into that retirement toolkit at McIntosh and Associates?
So we need to make sure that as we're meeting and walking together through this, we want to have your comfort, confidence, and clarity. And how we do so is we really can start from any piece of the puzzle, whether it's your investment planning first, meaning your diversification of your portfolio, what is happening with probably mitigating risk depending on your age of retirement, so you don't have so much market exposure. We're also creating income and timing the Social Security. When do we want to turn on Social Security? What does your longevity look like? What are your other investment sources and net worth, deciding some of those factors? And then how do we layer other income pieces in there to help protect you against items such as long-term care and that healthcare or Medicare that we need to help you plan, along with expensive possible prescription medications in the future. And let's not forget about your legacy plans, right? That we could even handle through life insurance or an efficient tax plan using that route as well. And then how do we round that out and protect the estate or the family with what's really important to you to make sure all those moving pieces are as efficient as possible for your goals?
Yeah, so you think about it. The Dream Focused Wealth Plan is going to have an income plan. You got to replace the paychecks that are no longer coming in. Investment strategies. Are you going to invest at 60 or 65 like you did at 30 or 35? Maybe. Everybody's situation is different. Maybe not. Tax efficient strategies. We talked about it. Tax is probably going up. How do we maybe take advantage of the taxes on sale right now? Maybe move some money to Roth, and it doesn't make sense for everybody. But the team would love to sit down with you and find out more. Health, long-term care planning, legacy estate planning, Social Security's in the income part, Medicare's in the healthcare part. That's a lot of moving pieces right there when it comes to retirement. 877-222-8849 if you'd like to sit down with the team and chat about your situation. Again, there's no cost for this. 877-222-8849. We're talking about the retirement toolkit. So let's touch on Social Security a little bit because I do think it's interesting. I'm 61, and this is the year I turned 62, which makes me Social Security eligible. And I have a ton of friends that have already retired. I had one that retired at 55. I had another one retired at 56. I've got a lot of them that are retiring in their early 60s, but almost every one of them had a pension of some sort. I don't have a pension. So they're like, well, you're going to start Social Security. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm going to keep working. So I don't want to give back $1 for every 2 that I get. So I'm not going to do that. Social Security is a big decision. And, the Social Security Administration says over 70% of us take Social Security the wrong way. And it doesn't mean we're wrong, Mindy, if we take it at 62 or we wait till 70. It just means we took it the wrong way for our situation. Social Security is not something to look at in a vacuum, is it? I mean, it's something that you look with the rest of the portfolio. When and where, how should we do this? Do one, spouse start it early, one hold off a little bit? I mean, there's a lot of moving parts here. How important is Social Security?
Well, it's an extremely important part of their income plan, right? So we're really taking a look at, key factors and questions that we ask here as a firm. We want to know about, longevity. Tell us a little bit about your parents and your grandparents. Let's talk about maybe how long they are expected to live or if they're still living. So we look at that to see the longevity timeline. Are you going to live into your 80s and 90s, right? Or even longer? We also look at your current health. What's your current situation like? And then what does your current investment portfolio look like today? Some folks don't have the option to wait. They need the income now. Others can wait, but maybe a spouse didn't have enough working credits. So that earned income earner has to go ahead and draw to have the spouse be able to draw from them. Or maybe we're drawing off a spousal benefit and waiting to defer to your own till 70. Or even if you're working longer, what if you love your job or you're continuing to work in your 60s and your income's high enough that you're going to be reduced too much? So we want to wait until at least full retirement age. So there's all these factors with taxation, reductions, longevity, income planning, overall portfolio, assets. Those all go into the equation of the when, where, why, and how to actually time the Social Security for your retirement income portion of your plan.
So, Mindy, I guess one of the challenges, I think, in today's world, my grandparents had all the income they need retiring in the 70s, high interest rates, put money in the CDs and just ladder them, and they were good to go. And they had a pension. I don't have a pension. So income to me is more of a challenge than it was for my grandparents in retirement. I think I'm taking a lot of risk probably because I need growth. How do we find that balance between growth and safety?
I think a very important thing inside of retirement is if we have that Social Security kind of planned out, our next portion of the income plan really needs to say, hey, let's take a look at either what we call low-lying fruit. You have too much in your savings account, too much in the checking, savings, money market. We can carve some of that out. What we want to do is still not have any market risk and not have a fee, but why not earn on average a 4, 5, 6% rate of return without having any market exposure at all and giving you a longevity that's to stand for that can give you a guaranteed income throughout retirement. And some of the products even allow you to get an increasing income in retirement. This can be done with bank funds that you say, hey, I don't want to have any market risk, but let's definitely earn more than inflation, okay? And let's not be utilizing CDs today. They're just not paying the rates that they once were. I'm not saying we'll never use them again, but right now is not the time to do so. Another caveat is we'll go ahead and reduce some market risk. So maybe if 90% of your portfolio is all in the market, we are going to use something closer to what's called the rule of 100. And if you're 65 years old, we're going to scale that down to only having about 35% market risk and the remainder in a safe instrument to give you growth, protection, safety, and guarantees.
So really the key is this. Everybody's situation is different. So when you sit down with Mindy and Nolan and the team at McIntosh and Associates, that's why the Dream Focused Wealth Plan starts with discovery. What's important to you? What are you going to do? What's your plans for retirement? What are your bucket list items? Hey, do you need a new car? Are you going to need a new roof? What kind of things do we need to plan for? So it's about you. Everybody's situation is different. Somebody might come in, sit down with Mindy and Nolan and need 10, 20, 30 grand a month. Others might come in and need $5,000 a month. They've got a pension. They got Social Security. Maybe they don't need as much income. Everybody's situation is different. That's why it's so important that Mindy and Nolan and the team at McIntosh and Associates, they don't know if they can help you until you give them a call because they don't know your situation yet. Once you call, now we've got a better idea. 877-222-8849 is the number. Again, there's no cost for this. 877-222-8849. And again, there's no cost. I think it's one of the more important phone calls you'll ever make. 877-222-8849. You know, one thing when it comes to your retirement toolkit that you want to kind of leave out of the equation a little bit are your emotions. We're going to talk about that next. This is Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Back with Mindy right after this.
Of all the questions you get asked every day, this is one you shouldn't ignore. How much money in your 401k or IRA is actually yours? Not what its current value is, but how much of it will end up in your pocket, not the government's. Remember, you still might owe taxes on that money. Make sure you aren't overpaying. Keep every dollar you're entitled to. Look, I know it's confusing, it's complicated, and it's definitely not fun. That's why at McIntosh & Associates, we work with tax professionals to help make sure you aren't paying more in taxes than your fair share. It's your money. You deserve to know what's at stake. Call our team at McIntosh & Associates today. Get started. 877-222-8849. 877-222-8849. Don't do the IRS any favors. 877-222-8849. Firm offers insurance services and may not give tax advice. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
Schedule your complimentary first visit with the McIntoshes right now. Call 877-222-8849. That's 877-222-8849.
Welcome back to Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Mindy McIntosh, the founder and president of McIntosh & Associates, started the company back in 2004. Husband Nolan, not with us today, but he joined the team in 2018. Now, it's a great team, and of course, located in Freeland, serving the Tri-City area of Saginaw, Bay City, and Midland. And if you'd like to chat with the team about where you are on your road to retirement, really, at the end of the day, we just want to know, will we be okay if we pull the plug on our working years and ride off into the sunset of retirement? Retirements today probably aren't like your grandparents. It's a little bit more go, bucket list items and do things all the time. So you've got to have a plan in place, an income strategy, investment strategy, tax efficient strategy. What about health care, long-term care? What about legacy and estate planning? How are we going to leave things? Social Security is in the income part. Medicare is in the health care part. That's a lot of moving pieces. If you have questions, you want to talk with Mindy and Nolan and the team at McIntosh & Associates, give them a call. There's no cost. 877-222-8849, 877-222-8849. Of course, you can find out more just by heading to the website, wealthmichigan.com. I'm Mark Kelly. We're talking about the Retirement Toolkit today. And you think about the Retirement Toolkit, there's a lot of different things we can put into our Retirement Toolkit. 401ks, IRAs. There's 403bs, 457s, depending on your line of work. Pensions, kind of going by the wayside, but there are still pensions out there. And if you're lucky enough to have one, congratulations. Could be real estate, could be life insurance, could be annuities, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs. We all have those in our 401ks. Those are a lot of mutual funds in there. So there's a lot of moving pieces to this. One of the challenges, Mindy, it seems to me, is sometimes we get emotionally attached to some of our tools in our retirement toolkit, if you will. So, hey, Mindy, this stock has just been incredible. I've used it for the last 15 years. It's fantastic. Why in the world would you ever want me out of that one? We kind of get emotional about things. Hey, my granddad left me this stock, and it's fantastic. It's really not doing much, but Mindy, my granddad gave it to me. I can't get rid of it. I mean, we sometimes draw emotional, I think, attachments to some of these tools when really they're just tools trying to help us have a better retirement, aren't they?
They sure are. And so we need to make sure that we try to take that emotional aspect out of it. Right? Of, gosh, if this worked before, why isn't it going to work now? Why won't it work over the next 5 years if it worked over the past 2025? Well, things are changing, right? And now more than ever, as we're walking through everything that's happened in 2020 and COVID, and we take a look at presidential election and we look at taxes and changes, we most definitely, especially as we enter into retirement, you're going from accumulation phase to distribution phase. So what worked currently, we don't want to always just continue to ride those waves, especially in retirement. It needs to be very calculated and monitored because things change. So try to take the emotional side out of it and let's more go with your why. So when folks come in here to McIntosh & Associates and meet with me, the first thing I want to find out is your why. Why are you looking to retire? Why do you want more time with family? What is it about those grandkids? Why do you want to go to the Grand Cayman Islands? What is it that's important to you? And then we can work from there to achieve those goals. It's not just about the stock you have, the advisor you have, the portfolio you have. It is about what is getting you from point A to point B the most efficient way with our help. And how is that going to calculate into your goals?
Now, the team at McIntosh & Associates can certainly help you with your market investments. And you're probably going to adjust how you invest the older you get. And Mindy talked about the rule of 100. So if you're 60 years of age, it used to be the old 60-40 rule. Well, that rule's kind of sometimes it's in play, sometimes it's not. But if you think of the rule of 100, if you're 60, 40% of your money is in the markets. Basically, 60% of it would be kind of risk-free, if you will, maybe in the insurance world. Everybody's situation is different. So those are rules of thumb, and some still play out, some don't play out. But when you think about the insurance world, because your team, Mindy, can help people with their market investments, their 401ks, IRAs. Hey, I'm 59 and a half. I'm going to work till 65. I'm going to roll my 401k to an IRA so I have a little bit more control, but I'm going to keep taking advantage of the match at work and keep contributing to the 401k. I'm just taking a little bit more control. Nolan can certainly help you with that. If you've never heard of that, the in-service distribution, if you will, while you're still working, once you hit the age of 59 and a half, most companies let you do that. 877-222-8849. But you can also help people in the insurance world, the world of safety. But I think a lot of times people think, well, insurance, it's not liquid. I really have a hard time, a stock and a bond, I can kind of flip them when I need to, so I can make those liquid. In the banking world, I would say there are three worlds of money. Are you with me on this, Mindy? Are you going to be with me today?
Absolutely. So, you definitely look at banking, you look at your liquid market funds, and then you got to look at your other segment of funds to give you income, safety, and guarantees that we help you on a distribution and a safety strategy. So it might work differently and it's going to look and feel different than it did the rest of your working years. Well, that's because now you're getting ready to retire. And we need to go ahead and carve out some things for healthcare and long-term care and safety for you.
Yeah, so you think about it. The banking world is not going to give us growth at this point right now with interest rates where they are, but it can give us safety, it can give us income, and give us liquidity. The market world can certainly give us growth, it can give us income, can give us liquidity, but it really is not there for safety. The insurance world can give us growth, can give us safety, can give us income. Liquidity is a little bit more of a challenge. So what about the insurance world, and how does that factor in to the dream-focused wealth plan? I mean, to me, insurance companies are a little bit more forward-thinking for the needs of retirees, especially when we're kind of a lot of people not having pensions and we can create our own pension through the use of insurance tools. How does insurance fit into this retirement toolkit? Or it probably doesn't for everybody, maybe, or maybe it does. I don't know.
So not for everyone, but a big key factor to look at is, most folks now, as we talk about the pension plan, most folks don't have a pension in retirement anymore. And they're wondering, well, where's my income going to come from, right? Or they don't think about it. And that's why you really need to call us here at McIntosh & Associates at 877-222-8849. Let us walk through of how we create that. One great way to do so, and even is going to go ahead and mitigate market risk for you, is by creating income in retirement. We can do so through life insurance chassis. You think life insurance? Well, life insurance is to buy for my loved ones. Well, not anymore. So life insurance can be used as a very good living benefit. It can create you income inside of retirement by drawing out what's called policy loans. That can be a monthly income that you use. And as the growth factor is working in there for you, that safety, that part is going through tax-free. So the nice part is that it's going to go ahead and mostly grow tax-free for you, but also when you're ready to convert it to an income stream, it can create you that pension through the policy loans that you take on a monthly basis. When you pass away, whatever's left in the life insurance plan then also passes tax-free to your loved ones. It's a wonderful choice to utilize for folks not receiving a pension. Nolan and I utilize it. We even utilize it for our children to even start borrowing money for them when they're in college. So that's one great aspect. If you need to hear more or learn more about different ways to utilize life insurance and be more innovative, please call us at the team here at 877-222-8849. And if you think, gosh, I don't want to go that route, but are there any other options to give me protection for income, long-term care, or even maybe to pay my new Medicare or healthcare premiums in retirement? Maybe you have enough Social Security and savings and want to use market funds and savings to pay for normal expenses in retirement. So we could use an option called an indexed annuity to create you other income protection and that healthcare rising cost to cover that through guarantees while you're retired. So let's not rely on just money sitting in the bank, not earning enough for inflation, or sticking them in CDs. Let's look at alternative options for you. And I think you should call us now. Now is the time to at least look at that plan, start understanding the pathway, and see if we can help you.
877-222-8849. And you think about it, one of the biggest challenges for retirees today, and it's because we're living longer, as a group. Obviously we all know the ones that have tragically not lived as long as we'd wished they had, obviously, but we're living longer. So that means we really need to have a plan for what if we both hit the age of 100? That's crazy. Well, they're saying by the year 2050, 3.7 million people in the world will be over the age of 100. And you go back to 2015, that number was 450,000. So think about that. In 35 years, you're going to have, 3.5 million more people hitting the age of 100. So the health care, the long-term care, that's something that we don't wait until we're 80 to plan for, do we?
We absolutely do not want to wait until we're 80. I think the sooner the better. So we even talked in earlier segments about starting to plant the seed, right? Or the foundation for these kiddos, even as they're growing up, and financial literacy through college and then careers. So the sooner that we can start looking at a plan, the better off you are. So there's no time that's too soon, but most people naturally are looking in that, 5 years out from retirement. I know COVID kind of sprung some things on folks and they wanted to retire early. So that's why it's important. You never know when something new is going to come up. Let's make sure we get a plan in place and have time on your side.
So here's the deal. Everybody's situation is different. Everybody's needs are different. Everybody's hopes and dreams for their retirement, their bucket list items are different. And so the idea is you need to have an open mind, I think, also when you come in and sit down with a team, because they have a lot of options for you, whether it's in the market world or the insurance world or what have you. There's just a lot of moving pieces to the puzzle when it comes to your retirement. What makes sense for you? So there might be some people that the Roth conversion makes a lot of sense. And for others, it doesn't make sense for. For some, life insurance might be the perfect situation, perfect fit for them. For others, it does not. So the idea is you call the team at McIntosh & Associates and say, here's my situation. What do you think? Where should I go? What should I do? And Nolan and Mindy and the team can certainly help you. 877-222-8849, but they don't know until you pick up the phone. That's why there's no cost for this. There's no obligation. There's no pressure. 877-222-8849. Give them a call. There's no cost. Why wouldn't you get started on this retirement? This is a big, big thing. We're talking about the next 20, 30 years of your life. 877-222-8849. We're back with our final segment with Mindy McIntosh right after this. This is Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes.
To learn more about the team at McIntosh & Associates, check out their website anytime at wealthmichigan.com. That's wealthmichigan.com.
Glad you're with us today for Wealth Michigan with the McIntoshes. Mindy McIntosh, the founder and president of McIntosh & Associates. Nolan not with us today. I'm Mark Elliott. Glad you're with us today. We're talking about a lot of different things on the program as we do every week, and we're basically talking about retirement. Well, our final segment today, we're going to talk a little good news, bad news. And here's an example. I'm going to give you the example, and you tell me kind of how it fits into retirement. So we often hear low interest rates referred to as a double-edged sword. They're good news for borrowers, but they're bad news for savers.
A big thing is, how are we going to make sure that, yeah, sure, people are buying homes, maybe doing refinancing. Great. But what's going to happen when we look 20 years down the road? So if we have low interest rate environment today, we're naturally going to see over time that is going to change. So what we want to do as far as a balance, low interest rates, we're also seeing low items such as returns for CDs, bank account rates, and we take a look at current inflation. So if we're looking at a low interest rate environment and inflation is still relatively low, we're going to see these things on the rise. So when that rises in retirement, cost of goods is going to go up for these retirees as well. The dollar today is just not going to stretch as far as, it did 10 years ago or 20 years ago as we look to the future. So how do we make sure that things such as long-term care needs and health care, what are we going to do about that? So we can use some financial instruments. We can even use an annuity to help make sure that we have a balance in your portfolio to hedge inflation. And that way we don't have that interest rate risk environment inside of there. If we can give you some guarantees now and be able to participate with positive growth instrument inside of that safety, it's just going to help give you more guarantees, more protection as we look at things today. We definitely can take a look 20 years ago at what interest rates were there and what people were buying homes for. And then you look today and you say, gosh, how can these be so low? So let's prepare for that now.
Here's another one, taxes. We sometimes hear positive reports about tax revenues coming in at a higher level. Good news for the government, right? But bad news for us because that means we're paying more in taxes. Paying taxes are part of life, Mindy. What impact can taxes have on our retirement savings?
Well, it's good that you live a healthy life, right? And so sometimes we tease our clients here and say, hey, if you're paying taxes, you must be doing okay, right? Or if they're complaining about the amount of tax that they're paying. But, if you're 65 years old and you're thinking you're going to live another 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, generally speaking, 7 out of 10 of you that are our clients today, you're going to live beyond 95. So have you planned and prepared for that, living longer, needing more income in your retirement years than even what you did during your accumulation working years? So think of that. A lot of folks weren't prepared for that. Social Security definitely wasn't prepared for that. So you need a plan for longer lifespans because you're living longer. You're also doing more things and you're going to have more healthcare costs. So some of you need to call the office here at 877-222-8849 and even just get a firm understanding of what is healthcare going to look like in retirement when it's no longer, let's say, provided by your employer. If you have more years that you're living, paying basic living expenses, healthcare costs, and now what is the withdrawal strategy on your investment accounts? That's more years and more tax dollars. So let us and the team here at McIntosh and Associates help you to fulfill that path.
So McIntosh and Associates located in Freeland and, of course, serving the Tri-City area of Saginaw, Bay City, and Midland. You can call them, have a 15-minute phone conversation. You can come in and sit down with the team. You can do a Zoom meeting. We've all learned how to do that. Again, the number is 877-222-8849, and it starts with a discovery meeting, the Dream-Focused Wealth Plan, discovery, analysis, solution, implementation, and updates, because once you have a plan in place doesn't mean your association with McIntosh and Associates is over. This is ongoing. They're here to help you get through retirement, and when it comes to the legacy and estate, how you're going to pass things on, they're here. They might even be here for your kids. The next generation comes up, and Mindy and Nolan can help them, certainly. So there's a lot of moving pieces to retirement. You need a plan, and the discovery meeting is about your hopes, your dreams, your bucket list items, and then to figure out where's your income going to come from. The investment strategies, how do we tweak them if needed, right? Tax-efficient strategies, taxes probably going up. How do we deal with that? Health, long-term care. One of the number one reasons that retirees, or actually even working people, file for bankruptcy is that big health hit that they didn't have a plan for. You need a plan. Legacy and estate planning. What about Social Security? It's in the income part. What about Medicare? It's in the healthcare part. Mindy Nolan and the team at McIntosh and Associates here to help. It starts with a phone call. There's no cost. 877-222-8849.
McIntosh and Associates Incorporated provides insurance services. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This radio show is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. McIntosh and Associates Incorporated is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during the show shall constitute tax, legal, or investment advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by McIntosh and Associates Incorporated.